Good morning and welcome, everyone. I'm Kerry Schmitz. I served as chair for RWA in 2020, and I'd like to welcome you to RWA's awards presentation and 2021 issues preview. It's great to be with you today to kick off 2021, which is the Regional Water Authority's 20th year. As you know, we typically present awards and talk about the RWA's year at the annual holiday party, but this year, we're trying something new. As you can see, Jim and I are coming to you from beautiful Auburn. Thanks to PCWA and Andy Fecco for inviting us here and serving as host and providing coffee. Andy, keep the coffee coming. We're enjoying the great outdoors. It's actually kind of a nice day today, and we're happy that it's not raining. So knock on wood that continues. And we're all safe and socially distanced and looking forward to when we can be with you in 2021. So this morning we'll be taking a quick look back.
And we are socially distant.
Socially distanced, demonstrating socially distanced.
Yep,
Thanks.
There we go.
All right. So this morning we'll be taking a quick look back at 2020 and some of the accomplishments made through RWA. We'll recognize some of the outstanding work of individuals and organizations, and we'll also take a look forward at 2021. What are RWA's priority issues and initiatives? Before we get started, a few housekeeping notes. Format of the meeting today is a Zoom webinar, which means that we cannot see you on screen and you'll be muted. And if you're having any technical difficulties, use the chat to let Christine or Kathy know, and they will help you. And a final note that this webinar will be recorded. So, Jim, 2020 was a challenging year to say the least.
Thank you, Kerry.
Looking back, I'm really proud of the way that the water agencies in the region responded to the COVID crisis. And despite the disruption, RWA and its members have made some significant accomplishments.
Thank you, Kerry. First, what I want to say, though, is I'm really privileged to work with a talented group of professionals who are the RWA staff. Rob, Ryan, Amy, Josette, Monica, and Cecilia worked really, really hard this year. And before I get too far, I'd like to welcome Jessica Law, our new Water Forum Executive Director, to the region. Yes, there's no question it was not what we envisioned for this year. But despite the curveball of the pandemic and a flood in the RWA office earlier this year, I'm really proud of what we were able to get done. Kerry mentioned how the agencies in the region rose to the occasion of the COVID crisis, but it cannot be overstated how rapid and effective the response the agencies engaged the COVID crisis to. Even with that backdrop, the members and all the members ensuring that job number one was to supply water to our residents, to our customers, and keep that water safe and reliable and flowing. We were still able to do the following: start a new strategic plan and complete it, which will guide us in the next 5 years. We were awarded $10 million in state and federal funding. Successfully conducted water transfers, bringing $4.5 million in revenue to the agencies that participated in that. We gained Governor Newsom's recognition of the Water Bank, which really helped us get some of that funding that I talked about just earlier. We began discussions on how the Sacramento Central Groundwater Authority would be staffed. We made significant progress in relationships, including relationships with the Nature Conservancy and the Asian Chamber. We kicked off the Water Forum 2.0 process, which is a keystone for our water supply reliability and protection of the environment. We established a Federal Affairs Committee, which has already been instrumental in bringing federal funds to the region. We approved the major project management services and resilience programs. That's going to allow us to bring another staffer into the RWA and help move our members' reliability forward. And lastly, this is really important, we added a communication resources. That's really important to let our stakeholders know, members of Congress, policymakers, and the public know what the region's needs are. But first, it's time to honor the individuals and organizations for their outstanding work in 2020 and contributions to the region. Kerry.
Thanks, Jim. So this is the fun part. So every year, Regional Water Authority honors individuals and organizations for their outstanding work during the year and contributions to the region over many years. While we are presenting these prestigious awards in a different format this time, they were considered and selected as they have been for many years. So just a few notes, the honorees are nominated by the local water community. Those nominations are carefully considered by an awards committee. And I'd like to thank the awards committee members. This year, Paul Selski, once again from Carmichael Water District, served as chair of the awards committee. Dan York of Sacramento Suburban Water District and Paul Schubert of Golden State Water Company served on the committee this year. And I'd especially like to thank Paul Schubert, who stepped in when I could not serve this year. So thank you, Paul. While we won't be hearing from our winners during this webinar this morning, we look forward to connecting with them and hearing their thoughts later in 2021. So feel free, as we go through the awards, to add any comments or congratulations that you might have to the winners in the chat box. So Jim, I'll let you announce the first award.
Thank you, Kerry. The Water Statesperson of the Year Award is the RWA's oldest award. It was first established in 2001. The recipient is selected for their outstanding achievements in building alliances within the RWA service area during the award year for 2020. I'm pleased to announce that Kristen White is being awarded the Statesperson of the Year Award. Kristen White is the operations manager for the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation Central Valley Project Office. First, a little bit about the position that Kristen holds. It's a critical position within reclamation, and frequently it puts the incumbent in a position where no one is happy with. Often reclamation contractors, environmental NGOs, and regulators feel that reclamation's just sticking it to them, but the reality is much, much more complicated. Kristen has the ability to turn the complicated reclamation decision-making process and turning critics into allies. She is honest, takes the time to invest in relationships, and is generous with her limited time. The tagline of the RWA is building alliances in Northern California. No one has worked harder to make that true between the American River region and reclamation than Kristen White. She helped make a long-standing goal of our region, the implementation of the flow management standard, come into existence. She helped make it work for reclamation, local water users, and the environment. The relationship between our region and reclamation over the last 20 years has been turbulent and challenging. Kristen saw the opportunity for partnership with our region and worked to resolve the conflict between our region and reclamation. She took professional risks. She didn't have to do that. She could have taken the easy way forward and allowed the conflict to continue. That would have been safe for her. Instead, she built trust with American River region representatives, and she has worked hard to advance reclamation's interest and the American rivers too. Our region has been negotiating with reclamation on the implementation of the flow management standard. Everyone had to give, and Kristen was able to convince reclamation to give in getting something more valuable, partnership with this region. She is asking that we support reclamation when regulators are being unfair to reclamation, which has happened in the past. We should fulfill that request. Kristen's efforts improve water supply reliability for the region, improve conditions for fish, and I just want to say she's a great ambassador to this region. One more thing, anyone who has worked with Kristen has known great things are ahead of her and ahead of her future. She is very intelligent, and you will be left impressed after you meet her. I'm very confident that she will continue to rise in the reclamation organization. Thank you, Kristen. On behalf of the members throughout the Sacramento region, thank you for your partnership and your friendship. Kerry, there's another Statesperson of the Year award being awarded.
Okay.
And that is to Kerry Schmitz.
What?
This is a surprise to Kerry.
Really?
Yes.
That's
so Kerry, as all of you know, is the chair of the RWA. Now, this is the second time in 2 years that the Statesperson of the Year award has been awarded to the chair. We don't want this to be a precedent or thought of as a precedent. Last year, Paul Schubert won the award. And on both occasions, the chair has gone above and beyond what was expected from them and contributed to the success of the region. Kerry is the Water Supply Division Chief for Sacramento County Water Agency. She doesn't like or need to be in the spotlight. She leads from behind the scenes, but will step forward and lead in front when needed. What drives her is what is the right thing to do, and Kerry has a great moral compass. For the record, I was not on the awards committee, and I wasn't the person who submitted her for this award, but I'm glad someone did. I've known Kerry for almost 20 years, and I met her when I worked briefly for Sacramento County. But I really got to know her when she became principal engineer and while I was working at the city of Sacramento. It was not long after that that she became division chief. Kerry has always been a team and regional player. She convinced her organization to join the RWA a decade ago and has contributed to several committees. Kerry has a skill set to help make our region successful. I think most people quickly come to see her soft skill set, her thoughtfulness and willingness to put herself into someone else's shoes. Kerry has been a passionate supporter of the RWA and has wanted to see it be successful. This last year has been a difficult year, and Kerry was instrumental in moving several initiatives forward, including the strategic plan, the major project management services and resilience programs within the RWA. She has led outreach efforts to ensure that RWA provides greater value to small and medium-sized agencies. Kerry has worked hard to make sure that everybody is heard. Kerry is a passionate supporter of the Water Forum as well. She has worked hard to support that organization, explaining the benefits and its needs to the Board of Supervisors, contributing to the efforts, and supporting Tom Goring and the Water Forum staff. We would not be successful as a region without the Water Forum. As you all know, the implementation of the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act is a huge lift, and Kerry has been a driving force in the implementation in SGMA within this region, in particular in the Consumnes and South American basins. Kerry has made alliances in the southern part of the county and has built the institutions and programs needed to manage groundwater. She has helped in ensuring Sacramento Central Groundwater Authority continues to carry out the functions as it re-envisions itself. The RWA and our region would not have been as successful without Kerry's leadership. Thank you for helping us move forward.
Thank you, Jim, and I'll remember this. I appreciate it. It actually is it's a huge honor, so thank you. All right, let's move on. So the next award is the Regional Water Management Award, and it's one of RWA's newest awards. It was established in 2019. And the award honors one or more agencies that implement a program or project that creatively addresses a water management need and also benefits the region. So the project of the year this year is the Regional Groundwater Substitution Transfer. So this important project had a number of agencies that participated, and those agencies are City of Sacramento, Sacramento Suburban Water District, Golden State Water Company, Carmichael Water District, Fair Oaks Water District, and Sacramento County Water Agency. Regional Water Authority staff supported the process, as did Tully and Young. The project transferred almost 15,000 acre-feet of surface water during the July through November timeframe. The project leaders, I'd really like to acknowledge the folks who led this project, because it was a heavy lift. So I think Brett Ewert from City of Sacramento, Mike Hewitt from Sacramento Suburban Water District, and Rob Swartz from Regional Water Authority were really the driving force behind this project, and the project would not have happened without those three individuals keeping us moving along. Additionally, I'd like to acknowledge Paul Schubert, Dave Underwood, Tom Gray and Kathy Lee, who were all instrumental in making this happen. Not to mention countless staff for the various agencies that provided information, performed monitoring, adjusted operations, and coordinated with other agencies. Again, it was a huge lift. A lot of people were involved, and I'd like to thank and acknowledge each and every person. So this project supports our efforts as we move forward with the development of the Sacramento Regional Water Bank. Project helped us demonstrate the feasibility of multiple agencies coordinating recovery operations. Helped us understand the requirements of using multiple water rights in a coordinated transfer. It helped demonstrate the feasibility of moving large volumes of water for extended periods through system interties. Helped us understand the detailed basin responses during and after transfer operations. Also helped us understand how to implement transfers like this in the future efficiently to benefit the groundwater basins for the region. So congratulations to everyone who participated in this important regional project, and I'm sure we'll be working on other transfers in the future. So thank you and congratulations.
For 2020, we have a new award that is fitting for an unprecedented year, the Special Service Award. The award honors an individual who demonstrated extraordinary service in extraordinary times. This award is being presented to Mark Madison of the Elk Grove Water District. Mark demonstrated leadership during the COVID-19 crisis this year by requesting RWA organize special meetings for the RWA members to share information and best practices. We had around 3 of these last year, and the members found great value out of these. The meetings allowed the members to gain ideas, to keep their staff safe, continue their operations intact, and how to manage with new requirements and regulations. Mark was ahead of the curve on the pandemic. He had his agency prepare response plans, which he generously shared with RWA agencies. You can find those in the RWA COVID-19 toolkit. Even recently, Mark was advocating that AQUA and other associations ensure that water supply workers who are essential workers are not forgotten about when assigning priorities for who receives the COVID vaccine first. I want to say that Mark has been a longtime advocate of the RWA. Mark, Bruce Camillus, and Tom Nelson probably spent more time on the RWA strategic plan than most agencies. Mark, thank you for your efforts, and please accept this Special Service Award. Back to you, Kerry.
Oh, congratulations, Mark. So this year we're presenting 2 Distinguished Service Awards. The Distinguished Service Award honors individuals for their service and leadership to the region's water community over the years. So the first Distinguished Service Award goes to Dave Underwood. So Dave Underwood recently retired from Sacramento County Water Agency after 34 years of county service, 26 of those years in water supply. He really helped build the Sacramento County Water Agency system back when it was the Sacramento County Water Maintenance District, and through the building of Freewa and Vineyard, bringing surface water into the South American subbasin. And he is a strong advocate, has always been a strong advocate for conjunctive use. He's past president and president of SAWA. He served as a director at the Fair Oaks Water District from 2014 to 2018. He has a long-standing commitment to safe drinking water for all of Sacramento County. He is an advocate for interties and interagency agreements to ensure reliable supply for all, and is the first to step up to help out in times of need. So he's also one of those guys who's working behind the scenes. A lot of you may not have run into Dave, but he's always been working on behalf of the county and of water purveyors in the county. On behalf of RWA, it's my great honor to present this award to Dave Underwood. I've worked with Dave over the last 11 years, and he's been an amazing teacher and friend to me. I'm happy to have the opportunity to acknowledge his contribution to water supply in the region and wish him health and happiness in his retirement. And his retirement will offer him the opportunity to work on the Austin Healy that is in, I guess, parts status right now. And he and his daughter need to get to work on that. So Dave, congratulations. Thank you for your service and good luck in retirement. Okay, second Distinguished Service Award this year goes to Tom Goring. Tom Goring has had a 30-year career in water resources in the Sacramento area. He's worked for CH2M Hill, David's Engineering, Bureau of Reclamation, and the CalFed Bay Delta program. He served as the executive director of the Water Forum since 2007. Tom has provided incredible leadership in this position, helping educate the environmental, public, water, and business caucuses, helping them find common ground. Tom has a unique blend of technical knowledge and facilitation expertise that has improved collaboration and cooperation between the environmental community, regulators, water agencies, and the state and federal resource agencies in a way that has benefited the region's co-equal goals. Tom is also very skilled in presenting highly technical information to a group with varying technical expertise in a way that everybody understands. This has been such an important skill set for the Water Forum. He leads the Water Forum with humility and good humor. We will miss Tom's laughter and his uncanny ability to land a joke. Everyone in the Sacramento region owes Tom gratitude for his work in water supply. Our water supply reliability and the environment of the American River are better because of the work that Tom has done. We look forward to hearing from Tom about his retirement life, and I imagine it'll be filled with woodworking, good beer, good wine, and boat rides on the rivers that he's protected his entire career. I think, Jim, you have a few things to say as well.
Thank you, Kerry. Of course, this award honors Tom's achievements in what he has done for the region. Many of you may remember that Tom won the Statesperson of the Award a few years ago. He won that for accomplishing at the time what seemed to be impossible, getting everyone in the Water Forum to completely embrace the flow management standard, which achieved the co-equal goals of the Water Forum Agreement: environmental protection for the Lower American River and water supply reliability. So many people are the beneficiaries of Tom's work. He has improved water supply reliability for the entire region. Tom has been a champion of the Lower American River, the crown jewel of our region. His efforts made significant impacts to the protection of the fish and the fishery. He was able to advance the flow management standard to a point that now it will live on, something that many people thought was also impossible, including me at times. Thank you, Tom, for your efforts. You are to be celebrated, and your efforts are to be celebrated. You have improved the region in a truly meaningful way. On behalf of the RWA, I'd like to offer you the award, and thank you, Tom, for all that you have done for the region.
Thank you, Tom, and congratulations. So there's a lot to be proud of in 2020, but of course there's a lot more to come in 2021. So we would like to spend a little bit of time and talk about what's coming in 2021. So Jim, can you talk about some of RWA's top initiatives and issues that we're anticipating in 2021?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Thank you. So we're very proud of what we accomplished in 2020, and it was a lot of work. But as you mentioned, there's no shortage of work to do in 2021. Our work is centered around assisting our members in providing reliable, high-quality, affordable water. That work becomes more challenging with getting ready for climate change and the impacts that will be associated with that, and also with legislative and regulatory pressures, which continue to mount. But we will rise to meet those challenges. Funding. One thing that is certain is that funding that supplements what the ratepayers are contributing will help make our challenges easier to meet. We expect federal funding. We expect that the federal government will take action to deliver on long-discussed infrastructure funding this year. Maintaining and enhancing local and state and national partnerships will be important to seeing our fair share of state and federal investment.
Jim, can I ask a quick question? I'll interrupt and ask, so how do you think that the new Federal Affairs Committee and also the new Manager of Strategic Affairs, how will they help RWA be successful in bringing in funding?
They will be very instrumental. At the end of the day, many of these decisions are political. Even if the politics that people want to say are that they invested public dollars for the highest and best use, it will be challenging to make that argument. And the Federal Affairs Committee and the new Manager of Strategic Affairs will help to be able to explain what the public benefit is of federal and state investment to policymakers. Another area that seems to be meaningful are the levels of funding that address wildfire efforts. Ensuring that the American River watershed receives investment will benefit for wildfire initiatives will benefit us all.
So to follow up on that, so most of the RWA membership is our urban water agencies. Can you talk about how investments in wildfire funding are going to help the urban agencies?
Certainly. It does it in a couple different ways. If we have a catastrophic forest fire, it's challenging for flood protection. It's challenging how we manage water on a watershed level. But more importantly, if we can deliver funding to forest management efforts, some of our agencies will be able to turn around and take their other funding and investment in initiatives that all our members want, including the water bank. But I'd like to talk a little bit more about watershed management as we discuss this topic. It's broader than just forest management. Watershed management. I think that Rob Swartz might call this supershed management.
Supershed.
The strategic plan lays out an approach to meet our mission of improving reliability, availability, quality, and affordability to our members. The approach is to plan, implement, and communicate and advocate. Our single biggest threat is adaptation to climate change. So in addressing this, our planning, communication, and advocacy needs to have a watershed scale focus. And even when projects might be a little bit more focused than a watershed-wide scale. An example of this are the work that SAFCA does and the water bank. For SAFCA, they're really interested in flood control, but they are an investor in the water bank. They have been helping to fund some of our efforts. They're interested in that process. For SAFCA, the water bank will help address flood control. It takes some water off the system. We can put it in ground. Other agencies like Regional SAN, they're interested in the water bank for their efforts for the Harvest Water Project. All of these are items that, when thought of together, work on a watershed scale. So we are working together to integrate all of these. That's a technical way of saying that increasing our challenges are all one, and that we will see increasing ties between surface water and groundwater as part of the solution. That means in the coming year, the work to advance the water bank, our relationships with groundwater agencies, and our relationships with local interest are of importance to our success.
So these are a lot of kind of big picture things that you're talking about. Can you kind of talk about some specific areas that RWA is going to be working on?
Certainly.
In 2021?
So regulation development is a big one. And many of our members know this already. There is the water loss standards, which are really impactful to our agencies. There's the voluntary agreements, another regulatory initiative that the RWA is increasingly becoming active in. These are going to be important focus points in order to help water supply reliability and also to reduce cost on our members. So it's important to also say that regulators don't always want to hear that these are challenging. So it's helpful if our messaging resonates with regulators. the way this works is the outcomes that we want and the outcomes of that regulators want are often the same, but there's a lot of nuance to that. Some of those areas that we're going to see continuing work are to protect water supply and the fishery, and that's what we're doing with the voluntary agreements. And I think that that is something that regulators are very interested in too. We have to make sure that they understand that we are trying to achieve the same goals.
Okay, so how is RWA going to engage on these topics, Jim, specifically?
This is where it comes a little bit full circle. Really, the primary way we are going to engage is through building on the work that we did in 2020. That includes bringing on the Manager of Strategic Affairs, advancing the work of the Water Use Efficiency Group, continuing to work with local agencies, statewide interest, and more importantly here, locally, with our local electeds. There's so much more that can be said about these topics. And we want to continue to utilize all of your expertise in the RWA agencies, as well as keep you informed. We're doing all of that so we continue our progress together. Thanks, Kerry. And I'm going to pass it back to you to wrap it up.
Great. Thanks, Jim. Really appreciate hearing your perspective and your thoughts on 2021. I think it's helpful to understand what you as Executive Director of RWA, what you see coming. So appreciate that. And thanks to everyone for joining us this morning. We hope you enjoyed this format. There's going to be a quick survey that we'd love to have your thoughts on. What did you think? What could we have done better? Are there different topics you'd like us to cover? So love you to fill those out. Some final thoughts as we embark on RWA's 20th year. The RWA was established with the idea that we can accomplish more working together than we can as individual agencies. The RWA's strength has been and will continue to be the collective vision, voice, and actions of its member agencies. And as you consider your organization's priorities for 2021, also consider how RWA can help you achieve them. Cheers to 2021 and all that we will accomplish together. So thank you again for joining. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a